Thanks for joining. Hey, Shivang. Thank you for joining. I think we'll wait for a minute or so, then we'll start. Any which way, we'll have a recording, but we'll give a minute or so for everyone else to join. All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining. In interest of time, while I'm getting a message that few people are running late, they may join 5-10 minutes late, but it's okay. I think we'll get started. Anyone can confirm if I'm audible properly and my screen is also visible?
Yeah, you're audible and your screen is visible.
Thanks, Bhumika. All right, so a little bit my introduction. As you can see on my screen, my name is Anil Bhavnani. I am an AI coach, aspiring AI coach in making, and I'm full-time a data and tech professional. Over a decade, I'm into industry, working into data side, analyzed a lot of data for business. Now I'm analyzing human data, and which is the essence for today's webinar as well, where we'll be talking about a lot on the emotions, how the data that is related to emotions is impacting our daily life, or how it is helping or hindering daily life people. But while I deep dive into that, I would request everyone if they can just type in their city from which they are joining and their profession. That will help me to understand my audiences as well. Just 2 words you can type in the chat box. Which city are you from and what is your profession? I really want this session to be more interactive so that I understand you. And now I feel that emotions really matters. So considering those, I would request everyone if they can just type in so that I understand you guys are active, listening. And typically, when I go and take such kind of talks live, so I take the kind of intentional contract from the people, and that intentional contract is basically, first thing is I ask people to show up, to bring your complete self to the session, not only physically but mentally as well. Second is paying attention. So as a speaker, I would definitely want you guys pay attention to me, but my intention is that you, throughout the session when we are talking, you pay attention to yourself, your inner self, how your emotions are getting shifted if I'm talking, if you are judging on any of the things, if you're not accepting on any of the things. Third is telling the truth. Truth is something which I would say not something I would be asking you to reveal some personal things, but it would be whatever questions during the session I will be asking. Just to stick, tell truth to to yourself, and be curious about all the judgments and everything whichever comes during the session. Now with this, as I said, I'm an AI in the world of AI era. I'm an AI coach, so I have some vision. So my vision is to mainly use the power of AI to create more healthy, effective, and compassionate society. To design and do the research to make the right tools which could really help leaders and the students to drive their emotions, to regulate their emotions. And along with the vision, I have a vision that coincides with it, where I am deeply engaged into conducting the research, how to make the right effective tools which easily the leaders in the industry can use. So I have been, over a decade, I've been part of the corporate world. I know how the different dynamics of leadership and the management works. So I truly and intentionally want to work towards that research and have those effective tools in place which can be utilized by different leaders and the students. And that is something which anyone and everyone of all the age group can leverage in their day-to-day life. Now, I think this is pretty great weekend, Saturday evening. Everyone would be into their calm and comfortable state. What you see on a screen, or at the bottom state, that is the x-axis, that is your inner state of the pleasantness. So I would really want every one of you to take a moment and rate yourself from -5 to +5 on the scale for the pleasantness. So -5 is something you are kind of in a very low state and you might need to go to some different workshops. And +5 would be something that's the best state of your mind. And I would say you could not do anything rather than listening to a guy who's speaking on emotions. So take a moment and rate yourself from -5 to +5. And no need to ping it on the chats, just keep it with you, and I'll be asking you certain questions during the course. Confirm. One second. Hey, Pradeep, thanks for joining.
Hey, hi.
All right. So I think, Pradeep, little bit for you. I have just covered what is my intention, vision, and mission. Where are we currently in the session is I have asked everyone just to rate themselves on the mood meter that you see on the x-axis, the pleasantness, from -5 to +5. You could also take a moment and then you're spot on time. You can rate yourself from -5 to +5. Give your number on the pleasantness.
Sure.
Now, with that, I would want you guys to come from your psychological state that was pleasant to your physical state. That is your energy levels, how energetic you are. You would want to rate yourself from -5 to +5. That you see on the y-axis, that these are your energy levels. So -5 is kind of your very low on energy. You might need triple cappuccino to get energized. +5 is you are super energetic. You can come anytime and say, Anil, give me your presentation I want to take. So just rate yourself on the energy scales as well, from -5 to +5. All right. So I would want now, we'll cross this mood meter in dimension. I would want you to think in which quadrant are you placing yourself right now? Whether yellow, that would be high on energy and high pleasantness. Red, that is low on pleasantness but high on energy. The blue one, low on energy, low pleasant. And the green one, that is high pleasantness but low on energy. I would want you to now put in which quadrant you are. Just type yellow for Y for yellow, red, R for red, blue, B for blue, and G for green. Just put it in the comment box. I hope you're able to put yourself into one of the quadrant based on the pleasantness or energy. I'll pause for a few seconds if you really want to take some time and think of it. Yeah, yes, Lena. So at the current moment, if you think this is a great weekend, you're okay. So Pradeep, I see you're in red state. Lakshya, I see in Y. Everybody, please just put it so that it makes sense for me also to take it ahead. Give me a second. I think I'm not able to see all the chats. Shivam, do you want to call out what is your state? Okay, yellow. And then Pradeep is only in the red state, which is not pretty good, what I feel. And rest, Lena, you're in green. That is great. Low on energy, but that is quite a good state to be more pleasant. Bhumika is also in G, pleasant state. So most of you are in good state. So Pradeep, I'm going to keep eye on you during the session. What is that red thing? But we'll discuss about it more and more. So next, I would want to ask you: Is this the reality? Is this the reality of your life? Are you like always in this state, or it changes day to day? How is it? Or most of the time, do you think you are in a yellow state or green state or red state? Is this the reality of your life? I think Pradeep is really in the red state. He is dropping off, joining it again and again.
No, I'm good now. Sorry.
Sure. Yeah. So take a moment and think, is this reality of your day-to-day life? Always are you in the same quadrant?
No, it is
Could,
fluctuating actually, always
yeah.
changing.
Any, yeah. And any hypothesis anyone feel he or she can share? Any hypothesis why it changes, or uh, why you are feeling the way you are, or why you have placed yourself into that specific quadrant? Let's take one example. Whoever, yeah, Pradeep.
So, see, to my observation of the experience is, it all about expectations. Okay,
Hmm.
being at certain position, you expect something from somebody, and if that is
Hmm.
not fulfilling on, I mean, you can just ignore it once, twice, thrice. But if it's keep happening, then it boils down to your emotions. You know that, and
Yeah.
maybe that is the only reason I find. But yeah, that is my reason, I would say.
Sure. Thanks, Pradeep. I would want to hear from someone who is in green or yellow. Like, why have you placed yourself in that green quadrant or yellow quadrant? Bhumika or anyone, do you feel confident to talk?
Yeah, so sometimes I am, energy levels are always high. But if I talk about pleasantness, so life happened. So some things I would not want to share here because it's very personal.
Yeah,
But yeah, but something that is
sure.
happening in my life. So see, I have two things in my mind: things I can control and things I can't. So the in my life, things happening in that way that I just can't control them, and it is actually not in my hand. It's just in God's hand, I guess. So that's why.
Yeah. So I think, yeah, there are a few things which are not in your hand. There are a few things which you should learn how to take things in your hand. So my goal from this session, and maybe probably for over the weekend for you guys to feel more pleasant emotions, to be, I with my goal with this strategies is to place you somewhere in between of yellow and green and teach you certain strategies so that you can shift your mood during the day or due to some intentionally actually do the shifting of your mood and bring it into the green and yellow kind of quadrants. Do you guys, any one of you, do you have any strategy if you are in green and yellow? What is your strategy so that you remain in that quadrant? Anyone has any strategy? You can ping in the comment if you can think of any strategy. How can you remain into any good emotion kind of quadrant, either green or yellow? All right. So my goal, perhaps from this session, would be I will be talking for next 40 minutes or so. Where it could be a roller coaster ride of the emotions. It could be you may disagree with me, you may agree with me on certain things. Hopefully, it would be a good session for you, good takeaways for you, and with the right strategies. Now, so far, what I have asked you to just put yourself where are you on the mood meter. Then I asked you what has caused you to feel that way. So you said that there are kind of emotions that are running behind. Now, another question for Bhumika specifically, if you want to label what emotion you are feeling currently, why you have placed yourself into the green quadrant or yellow quadrant, can you label the emotion? Or anyone else, even Lena, if you can call out what is exactly, how can you uh, call out that or label that emotions? Do you feel certain challenges thinking of exact word which can describe your emotions? So 80% of the people, when they are asked to call out how they are feeling or what exactly is their emotional state, they feel challenged at calling out that particular word. And possibly because we are not trained to know what does our inner self look like, on what exact word would be defining that particular moment, or that particular vocabulary is not what we have created for us. So my goal again from this session is for you guys to create a sophisticated vocabulary of your emotions, know your inner self. You can put yourself accurately in the quadrant and describe your feelings, because until and unless you don't name your emotions, you will not be able to tame it. So once you know you're feeling maybe anxious, maybe you're feeling sad, these are kind of high level of emotions everyone say when you are asked, how are you? You just call out, I'm good, bad, etc. But is that the reality of life? There is some another inner state that is going. Uh, that could be a different state of bad mood, that you are annoyed, that you are anxious, but we generally don't call out that words. And even people don't understand what exactly the word anxious means. So that's why my goal is to have those sophisticated vocabulary built for you of your inner life. Fourth things comes how you are expressing your emotions. Are you really able to express what you are feeling? There are times when you feel angry, but you try to express it through anger. And sorry, when you're feeling disappointed, but you try to express it through anger. Is that the reality? Even in the corporate world, the managers are disappointed with you, but they come and shout. That's the anger that they are trying to show, but they are not expressing it rightly, which ideally it should be a disappointment thing that he or she should express. So with this, if we see the history of emotions, so I would talk a little bit on the history. Anybody know who actually coined this term emotional intelligence?
No.
Is anyone? Yeah. So I think I got lucky. I got access to a few of the articles which enabled me to learn about emotional intelligence. It was two gentlemen, Jack Mayer and Salve, who did the research and coined this term in 1990. that is emotional intelligence. But pretty much for 5 years, this term was unknown, and it became popular after who is known as the father of emotional intelligence, Daniel Goleman. Have anyone of you heard about Daniel Goleman's book about emotional intelligence?
No.
Sure. So, okay, I think I am much lucky enough to get access to those kind of articles, books, novels that enabled me to learn about emotional intelligence. So basically, Daniel Goleman was the one who made this term popular after 5 years. It was coined in, I think, 1995. It becomes most popular, and people started discussing about emotions. They started understanding the impact that emotions are creating in our day-to-day life. And I'll talk on those, how it is impacting our day-to-day life, different areas where the emotions are playing major role. As you see on the screen, this is the historical thing that is coming from the psychologists and kind of philosophers. So passion and reason are antithetical. Rule your feeling, lest your feelings rule you. Now the things and the paradigm has changed. Emotions matter, and they matter a lot. So why it matter? It matters into decision making and judgment. How many of you have made a bad decision in their life? Most of
I
us, like,
I think everybody does at some point of time.
uh, anyone who made the bad decision in last week? No, I'm not going there. So, okay. So most of the time we are making decisions in day-to-day life, and subconsciously our kind of emotions are impacting those decisions. So there have been a lot of studies done how our decisions are getting impacted through emotions. Typically in the kind of education environment, there was a research done on the teachers. So where they were put into the different quadrants. So now you see, one can be put into the different quadrant by generating the emotions. Maybe you can ask people to think about a good day or a bad day. So those emotions are instigated. So that way the research was done on the teachers, and they were asked whether their emotional state, whether their mood is impacting the grading that they do with the students. So do you think the teachers would have said that, yes, my mood made the impact on the grading that they do? None of the teacher accepts and says that my emotions or anything is affecting my grading systems. But what research has shown, when they were put into the blue quadrant versus red quadrant, there was a graph difference between what they have evaluated. They were given the essay to evaluate, and in the essay itself they were like there was a huge difference the way their mood has impacted the checking of that essay. And after that the research says that in the green in the blue or red state, they had pointed a lot of mistakes in that essay. You missed that semicolon, you missed that word, that is the not right way to express any particular sentence. While when we are in yellow and green kind of quadrant, it is more like we are broadened. We say, okay, this is a great essay. So these kind of things are happening and into day-to-day into daily life in the corporate world itself. When we see there are managers who are evaluating us, so when we ask managers as well, do you think your emotional state impact your judgment, your evaluations? They say no. But the reality is their current state of mood, irrespective of how the employee would have performed during the year, they would just forget it, and their emotional state would impact their decision. That way we might not know that subconsciously these emotions are impacting our decision making itself. Other thing, relationship quality. So how many of you would like to be around the people who are nasty, who are angry? No one would like to be with such people. If there is someone who is really happy-go-lucky kind of person, everyone would like to love and enjoy their company. So relationship quality is another aspect why emotional intelligence also matter. Even nowadays, if you see when the hiring of the leadership is done, so the more and more that person display the kind of emotions that are more intelligent in terms of understanding the emotions, self-awareness, or the empathy, they're the right recruiters which are getting hired by the leadership roles. They're not they might have good kind of, I would say, cognitive skills, but what they are rated are on the emotional skills when they are hired. Is that the right guy one would want to go for a coffee? They will enjoy the company. Anyone can do the work these days, but what it takes, right, is the different kind of aspects that are more related to the social skills. Third is, I would like to bring your attention to the word attention. So now you see there are different two broad categories of the distractions. One is sensory distraction and another one is the emotional distraction. So sensory distraction is when I'm moving my hand, you see here and there, that is sensory distraction. But what's more critical is the emotional distraction. And during the day, most of the time, the thoughts which are running in the mind are due to the emotional distractions. That person has said me this thing at that time. My manager has done something wrong to me. So all those emotional distractions during the day don't allow you to focus on the work that you should do. And the other thing is the physical and mental health, that is more related to even if you are self-aware, that's the first criteria for the emotional intelligent kind of pillar. So if you're not aware about self, what wrong is going into your mind or the physical state, you'll not be able to regulate or tune it. So these are the broad reasons why emotions matter. Now, the coming to the tricks and techniques, the skills have been narrowed down, what is called ruler skill. So R is recognizing the emotions in self and others, how to understand your inner state, and also how to identify by looking at the other people's tonation, their facial expressions. That's the recognition. I will talk on each of these in the upcoming slides. Second is understanding the causes. So what has led me to be angry? What has led me to a particular emotional state? Even what has, to give the positive example, what has led me to be happy? And then comes the labeling. Labeling is important, and how you are expressing it. Are you expressing the emotions in the most appropriate way? And then comes the regulating the emotions effectively, which I'll be talking a lot into the upcoming slides. So here you see recognizing emotions. So that's more of, first you identify into oneself and others. This is the technique which is actually trained to the people to give that particular scenario, to give certain kind of facial expression and help them to understand whether they are judging it right, whether they are able to kind of uncover what is there in the expression or body language or even the vocal tone. When I'm not able to see your faces currently, so I don't know whether I'm not able to read whether it is going right or not. But as a emotional intelligence person who is doing research on it, my day in day out work is to read the people, understand what is going right, what is not going right. But we also understand from the vocal tones. Do you think over the call you can judge from the voice notations how someone is feeling?
Yes, we can.
Yeah. So that's the theory that these things are real and these exist. Until and unless we don't pay attention to this, we'll not be able to recognize. Over the call, when we see someone is sad, there would be a different kind of tonation that will come. When someone is excited, there would be different kind of tonation that will come. And I can sense, since I'm not able to see your faces, little bit I am hearing from Bhumika and Pradeep. I can relate their voices. Okay, Bhumika is rightly maybe into the pleasant mood. Pradeep, little bit, because you have told as well that you are in red quadrant, but there is a high pitch in your voice that says that something is wrong. Maybe you are frustrated with your office or anything, but there are factors which one need to understand in self and what one need to understand from others as well. Understanding emotions. What are the reasons why you are feeling the way you are feeling? Why I'm feeling happy? Why Pradeep is feeling kind of angry most of the time, if that is the reality, is in red? Why the energy is low? And in emotional intelligence world, all the emotions are important. Now you see each quadrant has different kind of activities. If we see now we are moving from theory to the real world thing. Why what we can do in the green quadrant? Why it is important, specifically for the leaders? It is important to generate the feeling. If they really want to get some work done from the people, there has to be instigation of the feeling. You go into the green quadrant, that is good to build the consensus in the team. We all go into the pleasant mood, everyone agrees in doing certain stuff. It is good for general writing as well. Now you see the yellow quadrant, you put on the good music, there's a good kind of high energy as well, there's a pleasantness as well. It's a good quadrant for brainstorming, for creative writing. Now you say why I would want to be into kind of blue. That's a negative emotion. Why I want to be into blue quadrant, right? So that is also important. How many time you would have want that someone should show empathy to you? You're feeling sad, and you want someone to show empathy to you. Someone should walk in your shoe as well and understand from your perspective. So empathy is a blue feeling. As a leader, as a good friend as well, you would need to put yourself into that zone and try to understand from others person's perspective as well. So that emotion is also important. And in reality, it's not true that every time you can be happy. There are kind of breakups, there are sad things, there are deaths. In red, you would say why I want to be into the red quadrant. You see, there are a lot of unjust in the society. There are leaders who are, I would say, not into the right position, who are not rightly trained. There is in the bullying going on into the college or the schools. So there is unjust. So if you are nasty, angry, and dysregulated, that emotion is not worthy. But if you are regulated, even the anger is good. You would try to convert that anger into regulation and try to convert it into some sense, some kind of debate or lecture, which makes meaningful for others to use that. Say, suppose I get angry seeing the wrong leadership at the top position. I get angry seeing the leadership taking the wrong decisions for the promoting the wrong person. So that way I try to understand that emotional intelligence and try to create the presentations, do the presentations in the corporate world to make them understand the reality. So my anger is converted into the right fashion and I'm utilizing it. And there are many creative people who try to convert their anger. You see different great artists who have been there. They have regulated their anger into the creative stuffs. So in an emotional intelligence world, all the emotions are important. What is important is you need to regulate it. You need to know how to regulate those and make the best out of it. Then comes labeling, having and using a sophisticated vocabulary to describe the full range of emotions. So I would want to ask if anyone feel confident they know what is the difference between jealousy and envy. These are two terms we many a times use during the day, and we have seen these feelings as well. Anyone feel confident to tell what is jealousy, what is envy?
See, those emotions are very difficult to, I would say,
Sorry,
uh,
Pradeep, your voice is kind of very much breaking. Is it for me or
can you hear me well?
do you want to type in or?
Is it fine?
I can hear you, Pradeep.
Yeah. Anil, is it
No
is
worries,
it okay
I'm
with
not
you now?
able to see the chat. Maybe Pradeep, you're not audible to me. Is it for me only or?
We can hear Pradeep. I guess it is from your end. Anil, can you hear
I'll
us?
continue. Bhumika, is it something wrong at me? I'm not able to hear anything.
Yeah, maybe let me just.
I can hear Bhumika well. Anil, maybe you can hear you as well. Maybe a problem at your end.
Give me a second. Give me a second. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, I can hear you, Pradeep. Yeah.
So yeah, I was
Sorry.
just saying, the jealousy or envy, both of these things are very difficult to judge because those emotions are, I would say, the situational. Okay. I mean, nobody stands in front of somebody with some jealousy always in mind. Okay. Something happens with a specific scenario, and then that emotion, strikes up. And that's what happens to me sometimes. So I'm kind of a person where I approach to the people very happily, firstly. But the way responses come from other side, okay, those could take me to some angry reaction, maybe some jealousy, I don't know. But it's always a reaction to some action. That's all I can say.
Interesting. Yeah. I think, yeah, thanks, Pradeep, for participation. Bhumika, you have any thoughts? You know what is jealousy or envy?
Personally, I am very far from these two words. I don't feel either of these things, but yeah, I have seen people around me.
Hmm.
Those are jealous and envy both. So
Yeah.
I really don't
Yeah.
understand the meaning exactly and why people are jealous with each other or envy each other.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just don't want to indulge in these things. It's just not my cup of tea.
Sure. So my intention why I ask this question, difference between, because these are just words you can say why it matters. It matters in the world of emotional intelligence state because jealousy is something which I will tell you it is more related to relationships. When you see that you are going to lose some person, that is jealousy. While envy is something when you see that some other person has got something, like he has got a good kind of tie, he has got a good communication skills, that is something where envy comes. But for the dynamics of jealousy, it is more towards the relationships. And why it matters for one to understand the terms, it not because he or she might be indulged into that activity. It is more how you can regulate if that emotions triggers, how you can teach the students if those emotions triggers in them, because the strategy to handle jealousy would be different than the strategy to handle enviousness. That's why it is important to label the emotions correctly and move ahead from only the kind of standard emotions of being happy, glad, sad, mad. There are plethora of emotions that are there underlying, which one needs to uncover and understand these strategies to regulate those. Now comes expressing the emotions. Do you think the way you feel at any particular moment, you are skilled enough to express it rightly? Or do you think you express, you are fully confident, but there are people who take away your mask and you are not able to express those things? So why it is important? Because there has to be level of appropriateness with the context and culture. Different countries bring different culture and context, and everyone has to adhere to that as well. Now coming how leaders are kind of expressing what they are feeling. So there in the environment where leader goes in, they just infuse the motivation and inspiration. Even if the leader is someone who is dysregulated or angry all the time, it will flow into the team, and then team will also follow the same steps until and unless the leader comes and don't express it rightly, it will the negativity will flow in the team as well. Now, here, the interesting fact is how leaders can express it rightly when they are angry. There are days when things are not right at home. There are days when someone would have fought at home. Give me a second. Yeah. Now, how to effectively express even that emotion is during the kind of when the leader comes is the openness. They can pretty much come and express that today I was not, I had fought with my wife or had bad day. I had a kind of, there was traffic. I'm not feeling fine. That itself, calling out that and expressing itself lowers down the intensity of negative emotion. And they are able to handle that once they communicate that. That's why the art of expressing the emotion are also essentials. Now comes regulating the emotions. This is the most important thing, how to regulate. It's not always about down regulating the negative emotions like anger management or stress management. It is all also about generating the positive things. Think about it, like how do you maintain the flow state, how you can maintain the happiness. So very small things like positive self-talks. Whenever there is a trigger, once you identify your triggers, how you'll be able to regulate those. A positive self-talk is a very effective way to do it in a quicker way. Yoga, that's the what is recommended by a lot of researchers. The breathing is the one thing that stays with you, that maintains the energy levels as well as the understanding of the awareness that is created by yoga. Now, coming to the maintaining the flow state. So there are times when you say, are there any strategies to what is the flow state? So imagine a time where when I'm working in the office, so I work, there are co-shared spaces where I work. Many times I am totally into kind of technical stuff. I am enjoying my work and that I get a call from someone, and that call, the guy says that, okay, you work into co-working space, we have a great office, why are you even working there? The moment the work that I was enjoying, I was in total kind of flow of a state where I was focused on creating the work or coding, whatever. My flow state has gone because of that call. Can I drop that call and come back in that state and again go into the flow which I was following? That's what the flow state is. Can we regulate that? Can we come back and have those flow state maintained and not distracted by external factors which we get in between? Now, what's important is, can we measure the emotional state of anyone? If I ask Pradeep to rate yourself, do you think that you are emotionally intelligent than Bhumika, or you are emotionally intelligent than the people around your family?
Not really.
Not really.
And,
It
and
varies actually on situation, but yeah, not really. I'm an
hmm,
emotional fool.
See, I'm high on emotions right now, I would say. And then somebody says, "Cool down, man." Then you tell me how I can judge myself in front of them. How am I really, you know, reflecting in front of others?
And for me, it is like on my mood. Sometimes I take it things very, cool way. And sometimes when the state of mind is not good, then I take small things very seriously.
Yeah, I agree with Preeti. Totally. Totally us.
yeah. So I think asking people to rate themselves is really not the right criteria to judge what is the emotional intelligence state is there of the person. Can you rely on your kids to judge you on the how emotionally intelligent you are?
Not at all.
Yeah. So even asking yourself, asking your kids is not the right way to judge yourself on your emotional intelligence quotient. So what is the right way? What is the practical approach which I instigate or I generally follow even in my talks is the ability-based assessment tool, where people are given kind of certain test. First is where they are asked to look at the facial expression and decode them. Are they able to identify emotions in other folks? Are they able to identify emotions in themselves? So those set of questionnaire help them to judge whether, and then judgment would be something who knows how that emotions is decoding works like that, and giving the scenario and the situational tests, which typically a lot of tests are there in the kind of army interview, if you would have known. So those people are given the situational test. And even the leaders nowadays, whatever recruitment are happening in the top corporate or the Fortune 500, they go through these emotional ability based assessment tests. And we have seen the trends. People can learn those skills. They can gradually increase their emotional quotient over the time by following the tools or techniques, understanding themselves, understanding others. And there is a bar graph change in the trends, the way someone is emotional, how someone emotional quotient varies. Now, what in the school life or what the students have seen, the people or the students who are more emotionally intelligent, they are less anxious, they perform better academically. Now, you see, think I talked on the attention part, the focus, the emotional focus, that is a distraction for a lot of people. Now, in colleges or schools, there is a lot of bully that happens. Now, think of the student who is bullied, who carries those negative emotions in the mind. His or her mind will not be available for the learnings that he or she has to do during the class. He will be dealing with most of the time those emotions while going from one class to other, while going from home to school. So his mind would be dealing with all those negative emotions instead of focusing on learning. So students, it has the research has shown the students with high on emotional intelligence, they perform better academically. They are less likely to abuse alcohol, drugs, and cigarettes. They are less depressed. They are not depressed because they know the strategies and tactics. Coming to the real world, when the study is done on leaders and managers, for managers and leaders who are high on IQ or and EQ, they have great sensitivity, empathy, and they are more expressive. They are rated as top effective leader by their direct reportees. They receive high merit and performance ratings as well. And also now teams with high EQ, they have faster cohesion. They perform much effective in shorter time. They receive support internally from the team members. Now, the predict is how this emotional intelligence develops. So there is definitely nature and nurture. There are few people who are kind of born with like that. They can understand the emotions. They can see people. They can tune in. They can influence people. There is a nature thing, and there is a nurture, which combine together with the emotional intelligence with the ruler skill that I narrowed down. Uh, that is recognizing the emotion, understanding the emotions, labeling it, expressing it, and then regulating it. That becomes the combination of nature and nurture that effectively makes kind of greater social competence that increase your quality performance and also the mental and physical health. Now, what we do in the corporate world, these are the next few slides I'll talk on what are the anchors of emotional intelligence. You would want to have the tools. You by now, I think you would understand that. Do you think emotional intelligence is something which really can add value to the life, to the personal life as well, to the corporate life as well, and also the performance?
Actually,
Yeah. Thank you. If anyone would say no, I would ask them to drop off. So sorry. All right. So I will talk on what are the anchors of emotional intelligence. One is what we do in the corporate world is we ask teams to create the emotional intelligence charter, where the team is asked as a team what we want to feel, what you guys want to feel, and what amazed is these are the responses that comes from the team. We want to be feel valued and respected. That's each and every team member is giving their inputs to create this emotional intelligence charter in it within the team. They said that they want to be feel trusted and safe. They wanted to feel empowered to take risk. Now imagine a scenario in the corporate world, if within the team, howsoever big or small it is, if you keep this charter. Now, what would be the good idea is you keep the mood meter in the team in your corporate offices as well. And whenever people come in, you ask them each other like, "Hey, Pradeep, in which quadrant are you? I'm going to remain there." And there is a charter which everyone and anyone can look at it. Second comes in the charter itself. In order to have these feelings consistently, what we'll do. These are the actions that team will diligently look at it. They will implement it. And there would be conflict. There are conflicts that happens within the team, within the managers, and there are different thoughts of people. So what we'll do to prevent those and manage the conflict by. So that's the charter that is typically built in the corporates. Wherever I have taken these sessions, the first thing I do wherever there are conflicts is get the charter prepared. And these are the simple examples. The true things come from different team members, and it amazes me really what really people wants to feel. Now, second thing is this is kind of another anchor, meta movement. Very powerful tool. The first is something when you know your triggers. So from today's session, after today's session, I would really want all of you to list down what are your top 10 triggers. So triggers are the situation which basically hijacks your mind. Maybe in an office, say suppose whenever I host a meeting, what triggers me is if anyone comes late. That triggers the anger portion at me. So until and unless I don't identify that trigger, uh, I may explode at the person without knowing the reason why he or she is late in the meeting. But there could be a reason. He or she could have kind of sick child. There could be an accident. So without knowing the trigger, I will not have the right strategy how to handle that. So my goal for you also is you identify what are your top 10 triggers which instigate the negative as well as the positive emotions. Because why positive is also important, since you would want to change the state of your mind to reach to the positive state. So that is your trigger. We'll try to do that by understanding your positive triggers as well as negative triggers also. So when something happens, second is sense. Now I'll tell you a little neurological funda. In our mind, there are two important kind of parts of brain. One is amygdala, and second is prefrontal cortex. The amygdala, the function of amygdala is to identify the threat, and that's the kind of whenever any threat or any kind of situation comes, amygdala is the kind of reactive kind of brain which tells you that some threat has happened, something wrong has happened. And then prefrontal cortex is something that comes in and sympathizes that, rationalize that, and helps you to take the action. So second thing, what you see in the meta movement is the sensing of that negative emotions. And at the third step, what prefrontal cortex comes and analyze and rationalize that. The fourth is see your best self. Now you imagine like there are certain kind of anger has triggered in you, and then you have taken prefrontal cortex has been activated. You took a pause, but until and unless you don't have effective strategy, so what I do, you should have your kind of image of your best self. When I do the talks, many people call that Anil is more calm and composed person. So if I have got some negative trigger, I imagine myself as the best kind of that best version, that I am calm and composed. How any calm and composed person would react into that situation, that comes to my mind, and it neutralizes the negative emotions. I start feeling good about that. That I can strategize more. I come out of that paralyzed situation, and I have the since I come out of that paralyzed situation, I can better take the decision how to regulate that and come out of it. That's the strategy. Then it comes how you come out of it. So I would recommend you to create the best kind of image of your best self, which will help you to come out of that situation. Many a times I joke like, okay, I have something happens, there is a fight with my wife, I sense a negative emotions, I stop, I take a long breath. Even after that, if I'm not moving out of that, I cannot say that, okay, now I'm going to fight with that, take a deep breath and again fight with it. So I imagine my best self and come out of that situation. So I would recommend you take the 6 steps to come out of your negative paralyzed situations so that you can avoid the 12 steps later. So I would wrap up with a small clip, which you would see how the emotional instigation changes one, kind of how they react to the situation. I'm a big Bollywood fan, so many a times I try to pick certain clips which can resonate with everyone. Let me know if you can hear this.
तो कस के गले लगाने का अब
Yeah, it's audible. It's audible to us.
I guess there was some lag issue. Voice was coming earlier and then video was playing.
No, it was good. It was good.
Yeah, but the whole idea is that a small shift in the way we express things, the way we work with our colleagues and things, it changes a lot of kind of response as well. Even the workplace, if we just make a little shifts, there would be a huge change. So with this, I think I have covered what I had to cover as an overall about emotional intelligence. I'll stop sharing my screen, and I would want if you guys also can come on the camera and we can have a quick chat. Thanks, Preeti, for joining. So by now, my whole goal is that over the weekend, you create certain positive emotions. You know how emotions are affecting your daily life, how you can be productive by learning about these. I have given a broad overview of emotional intelligence as a term, but there is a lot of depth inside, lot of tools and technologies which are available now. Technologies are available to measure your emotional intelligence as well. So my recommendation is you go through those, do your own research, since you are now aware about the term which is coined kind of in 1990s and how it is impacting the life in 2025 itself. So my goal for you is definitely, one thing is you identify your triggers. Second thing is you develop a sophisticated vocabulary about the emotions. And then definitely, I would keep sharing whatever research I do in this area, whatever tools I learn in this area, that I would be sharing by creating the community and being kind of EI coach in this AI world. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for your time today. Thank you, Preeti, Bhumika, Pradeep, Lakshya. I
Thank you
will,
so much.
if you have any questions, I am happy to take.
One thing I want to add on is these days kids are like emotional वाला part जो अपने 90s वाले kids में फिर भी है, but in
Hmm.
today's kids, like those who are after 2015, so they don't have that emotional वाला part.
Hmm.
Over practical है. So
Correct.
some part of that should be there.
Yeah,
What I feel. So
definitely.
what should we do to inculcate that?
Yeah. So one thing is definitely, क्योंकि schools में अभी तक curriculum में emotional intelligence जैसा part आया नहीं है. So what now
Hmm.
educators are also promoting that to make this as a, in few of the schools this has been introduced, not in India particularly, but US and UK side में now emotional intelligence is a part of students curriculum. And gradually
Okay.
India में भी जो start हुआ है, which I am seeing, people are taking external coaching on this emotional intelligence, where they are, and if you know Preeti, I think we are connected from a school, our
Yeah.
friend Jaya, uh,
Yeah.
she is conducting webinars on emotional, or coaching on emotional intelligence for students specifically.
Okay. Okay. I'll contact her.
Yeah, I have seen, and I have seen her live videos as well. Students are doing an amazing job in her kind of classes. My focus is mainly on the leadership because I come with the corporate background.
Yes. Yes. Agreed.
Yeah, but yeah, आगे पीछे ये है कि schools में ये as a subject होना चाहिए. And even
Yes.
this
Yes.
ruler skills जो मैं बता रहा था, that is something Yale University में they teach the students only. And they
Okay.
create this kind of charters in the school itself. So I suggest and go pitch into the kind of corporate world to create these team charters. There they create this into the schools.
Okay. Okay.
Now,
Thank you.
anyway, Preeti, you know कि क्या क्या ruler technique से कैसा है. At least अपने बच्चों को तो you can teach.
Yes. 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 जो अपन आप सीख रहे हैं वो उनको पहले से सिखा दे तो अच्छा है ना. It will help throughout the life.
Correct, correct. Any other thing, Bhumika, Pradeep, Lakshya?
No, it was very good and it was very new to me. I have heard this word for the first time, that when Anik mentioned that there is something called emotional intelligence, I was asking, what is this? So that's why
Hmm.
he called you yesterday, and yeah, it
Yeah.
was a great session. Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Bhumika. Thank
For
you.
me, Neil, you know me well from long time now. Almost 2 years we've been work together.
Yeah,
You know you know me well, how I react.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. For
yeah.
you, recommendation is really a good regulations. instead of reactive, how you can take a pause, how you can take a meta moment.
Exactly. I mean, what I learned from my couple of like this 18 years I've been into this industry. But what I really understood is, this one of the part that we're talking about right now is something I should have looked after a little early.
Yeah, yeah,
Because technology wise, I am not really rating myself anymore because I know what I can do. But how to deal with the people, how to
yeah,
handle the situations, how to make sure that things are on right place is something I really need to focus on, and that is the reason I joined this session.
yeah.
And I feel like I realize it, but later I wanted to discuss this and build that framework beforehand so that I can apply that, as you said. So the initial part that you spoke about, right? The having a charter and then planning the emotional approaches towards the situations. I mean,
Hmm.
that situation should be known to you beforehand. Then you will definitely can channelize it, and that
Yeah.
is what I find it a key point here. And good. I mean, definitely I can keep with you in touch about this to elaborate more. Yes, thank you.
Definitely, Pradeep. Thanks a lot. I think I really am thankful that I am able to add some value, some takeaways I'm able to give you guys. Thank you for your time and have a great weekend. Have a great Sunday.
Same to you. Have a good day to everybody. Bye bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Likewise. Thank you.